welcome to the show. We are here on Forza Horizon for today with another sort of mini tournament. We have got a selection of supercars, pretty well, a Mercedes in there as well. The Mercedes is a little bit of an odd one out, but a selection of high-end supercars, and naturally the best possible use for them is going to be on a rally stage. Yes, this is cars up to the top of S1 class. Everything is run stock as the cars were built. There were no all-wheel drive cars allowed or no rear-engined cars, but otherwise kind of had a bit of free reign in S1 class. So we've got the likes of a Celine, an MC12 in here. I'm in a 177 that's currently parked around, so the drone mode doesn't despawn the cars, but it's an interesting selection of cars. I'm really curious to see what vehicles are going to come out on top in all of this. So we're going to get everybody ready. This is the ready command for them, and we will send the first lot underway. The MC12 is very good off the line. The Maserati is probably one of the best launching cars we have in this field. The Celine will hold on to second place. Maserati's going to go for the jump. Now, if you get that right, you can jump across the water splash and never really have to worry about it. The Koenigsegg's in trouble. That's on the outside of the Mercedes. Now, the Koenigsegg was expected to be fast. It's had a bad start to this race as we head briefly along the tarmac section. Now the top two cars in this race, they will advance to the next round. The bottom two go into the spanner final. They have a chance to progress from that. Can the Koenigsegg catch up to the Celine before the end of the race? That is the question. The MC12 is leading the way and looks like that will be through to the next round. The Celine does not want to brush the wall all too much. The finish line is just up ahead. We have got this little bit of a tarmac road for the cars to go across. Maserati wins. Celine is through in second place. That's a turn up. It's a turn up. We were expecting... Oh, the Mercedes has had trouble. Oh dear. The Mercedes is a little bit of the odd one out to begin with. The SL65 maybe not quite working. Down here. That is a tale of the books. We were expecting the Koenigsegg to be one of the faster cars, but a bad start. It just couldn't make up the time. So, the MC12 and Celine are through to the next round. Right, so we have the second heat on the line. We have two Ferraris, we have a Wara, and an Aston Martin. The Aston Martin, again, perhaps a little bit of the odd one out in this particular group, but you never know what can work. And this is a quick rally stage. You know, mistakes are easy to make, and if things go well for you, you can certainly make up some time. But let's send this lot underway. It's a fairly even start from everybody. The Enzo is going to come out of the first corner with the lead just about from the Wara. The Pagani's having a look around the outside, not quite going to make that one work through there. Got to make sure you get the car stopped. Now, you're not allowed to go across the grass and make an overtake through that section. The Enzo is going to lead the way. Some sliding from the Wara as the various flaps move around. It is the F40 fallen to the back, is behind the Aston Martin that almost finds its way into the house. Got to be careful with them houses. Up at the front, the Enzo continues to lead the way. Here comes the Pagani, tries to get alongside. There is not much space to make that one work there whatsoever, and it can't quite do it. Now, this is a tough corner here. You're running too deep. Really easy to overdrive the turn. The Enzo doesn't do that, and it will be the Ferrari unless there's a massive problem through here, which it doesn't. It's close. Enzo wins. Wara is in second. They both progress. The Aston Martin comfortably beats out the F40 that didn't have the best of races. Not the easiest of finish lines either, I'll be honest here, but that's just how the road has to go. F40 had a tough time. The F40 had a tough time, but we have one Ferrari and one Pagani through to the next round. So, I am in the third and final of the heat. I've gone for an unusual choice in the 177. Turns out it's very good. It's very good, weirdly, at this sort of stuff. I do have some stiff competition in the form of the Ford GT. The 488 is actually not too bad as well. The Celine is interesting. Can get off the line, does seem to struggle sometimes. Although, again, you never really know. So I'm going to put the ready command. We'll have Ninetales on the go for us. The worst bit for the Aston Martin is it doesn't get off the line very well, which is a problem in this, but it gets very, very fast later on in the course. The Ford is going to sneak past. Now, what we need is to find ways to overtake cars. Overtaking is not the easiest thing to do here. The Ferrari very deep through that section. Can can we? We need to beat the Ferrari, basically. And my start... Oh, I suppose my start can be too much to try and beat the Ford, but the Ford had a big mistake going onto the tarmac. We are all tangled up here. That is less than ideal for the 177. We need a very, very good final section here. The Ferrari is sliding around. We're going to be up on the outside. It's not quite made it work there yet. This is probably the best corner for the 177 though, if we can get underneath, which we cannot do. I think it's going to be spanner final for us. The Celine is right there. I cannot find a way past the Ferrari. It's going to hold on just. Oh, and I had a quick car, but the launch lets it down. The launch, the 177 lets it down, and it just cannot get through. Bugger. Well, we're going to have to do things the hard way. It's not impossible, as we will be into the spanner final. The Raptor wasn't even all that far behind either. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to do this the hard way. Bugger. Well, my rather fast Aston Martin finds itself in the spanner final. Unfortunately, it's poor starts. It could let it down. We'll have to wait and see. I like to get creative with the odd overtakes. We're up against all sorts of competition. The Koenigsegg is the one I'm worried about. I think I can beat the Mercedes. I think I can beat the F40. We've already beaten the Raptor. The Aston I'm not too worried about. The Koenigsegg is probably the biggest threat, but that is worse launching than me. It's the only car in this field that gets off the line worse than the 177, although it's a much better start for us this time around. We will be in second place as we give the F40 a little bit of help through this first corner. We're going to be to the outside. I get a big oversteer moment into this next turn. I can see a very turquoise car in the background. There goes the CCX8S. I don't even know which one it is. I think it's the 8S actually that's being run in this. Not 100% sure. We will get on to the tarmac with no problems. This time around we are in clean air, and we're now coming up to the section for 177 likes. I daren't look back and see what's going on. There's a lot of fighting. I've got to concentrate on my own race though. It looks like the cars we expected to get to the front have worked their way to it. This is the turn my car loves. I should probably go around the outside of the Ferrari really, if we were going to get a bit too much oversteer through there. It won't matter. Me and Longbow are through. It's not the best actual final sector for me. The F40 gets third, ahead of the Mercedes. The Mercedes wasn't last actually. That's quite good going. It was a hell of a battle further back. It was one hell of a battle between the Aston, the Mercedes, and the Raptor. Okay, we did what we needed to. I say disaster averted. Embarrassment a little bit averted. I was kind of talking this car up. The 177 is surprisingly good on the dirt, but we got stuck in traffic on the first round. Spanner final went more our way. We had a bit of a better launch, and we could stretch the legs of the car in the latter stages. Right, we're through to the next rounds. So, we are on to the semi-finals. I think I've got the slightly nicer of the two semi-finals. They're going to be tough, regardless. We've got the Enzo and the Ford GT in ours, along with the Celine that I haven't raced, and I have no idea really what the relative performance of that is going to be. What I know is I'm going to have to overtake cars. I can't get away with my launch alone here, so we are going to have to be overtaking some cars on the circuits. I just want to get not so far back off of this start line. It's actually not too bad. It's probably the best. We are 4 wide into turn 1. The 177's traction might be enough on the outside here, but we are heading towards a wall. That's going to cost us 2 places in the end of all of that. Can we get the Enzo? This is going to be the big question. Oh, that's a big bump. We're just going to spin the wheels. We are on the water. Oh, we get catapulted across the inside a little. The water did not help. It did just tip me into the Enzo. We have cost the Enzo perhaps a little bit of time. I don't think the Enzo knew I was alongside up the inside on that one. I'm in the wrong gear as well. Okay, how good can we be through this section? We might even have the legs on the GT through here, but where do we pass it? We saw how difficult it was to get past the Ferrari. Can I make it stick on the outside here? I've run the risk of trying to get past the Ford and lose out to the Enzo. Oh no, I'm going to get blocked in! No! The Ford was so slow out of that section, completely screwed us. Shouldn't have gone for the win. I should have just taken the second. I thought I could get around the outside of the Ford. I wanted to try and get around the outside of the Ford. I thought I could do it. And then the Ford just didn't get any drive. And I did. But it didn't matter. We're out. The 177, that's probably one of the better cars here, is gone. from the tournament. A little bit unlucky. Yeah, not the cleverest. Not the cleverest by me in that one. It was nearly a spectacular overtake, but it just didn't work. Well, after that horrible disappointment, it is on to the second of the semi-finals. I mean, hopefully it should be a pretty exciting race, this one. We have the Maserati, Ferrari, Koenigsegg and Pagani Zonda all online. Lots of Italian cars here in this one. What is that glowing on the front of... Does the Maserati have a glowing... That's a weird Forza thing. Why was that glowing? You might have to... Does that light up when the brakes are on? You know what? Let's not question it. Shall we get this round of vehicles ready to go? The MC12 is the one expected to make it out. The others, we're not really sure as to who might do it, but then I was also one expected out of the last one. Oh, the wire is very bad off of the line. The Koenigsegg is very, very slidey through all of that. The Maserati is going to lead the way through the first corners. The Koenigsegg struggling for grip massively up on the outside as we head through this next corner. The Koenigsegg gets a lot better later on in the run. Is pretty much what we've seen, although if something goes wrong with that car, it really struggles. It looks like it might be the Ferrari and Wara battling it out for second place. The MC12's got too much of a lead early on. It was the only car to get a good start in this particular one. The Ferrari's very wide. There goes the Wara. That'll be up to second. Lovely overtake from the Pagani as the little butt flaps are going around this. Of course, the MC12 is up in the lead, and that will head around the, I guess, the main final corner. The Wara is not going to be beaten in this one to second. Maserati takes victory. Wara is second. Ferrari takes third. The Koenigsegg just did not have the best of run. That struggled to get going and lost a little bit of time early on. Quick car, but a very difficult car to drive down here, as you can imagine. Well, there we go. We have the finalists, made up of predominantly Italian cars again. So, here we have it, the grand finale to the Great Supercar Rally. We have got Ferrari Enzo versus MC12, a fairly fitting battle. Let's be honest, we've got Pagani Wara 4GT in the mix as well. If the Maserati gets off the line well, I think it's going to be tough to catch it. I think it's going to be someone playing around with a reverse wheelie Volkswagen in the background. Don't worry about that. Shall we see? Shall we see what is going to come out on top? My money's on the Maserati, although there could be some upsets, as ever, with this kind of racing. Let's launch the cars. It's a good start from the Enzo. In fact, the Enzo is going to bolt to the lead in all of this. Now, that could make life very difficult for the MC12 in the end here as we head up towards the big splash across the river. Is a big dive from the Maserati. It gets alongside. Can it complete that pass? Is it going to be Ferrari versus Maserati for the victory here? Will these two fight each other too much and let the others catch up as well? Still, the Enzo stays alongside. The Maserati's traction's too good on the tarmac. It just pulls away. The gap it can pull through there is fantastic. It's really impressive. Here comes the Wara trying to look for that second place. The Ford's having a look somewhere around in the midst as well, as everything slips and slides its way through the next corner, unless the MC12 makes a mistake, which it does. The Maserati's in the wall. Here comes the Wara. Can it get all of them on the run to the line? Nope. The Ferrari's got boxed in all of this. They're trying to go three wide. The Ferrari's in the tree. The Wara takes second in the end. Oh, the MC12 nearly threw that away. No one could quite make the most of it in all of that. The poor Enzo was just on the outside of a three wide towards the finish line with no grip. Oh, the Maserati got a bit of a reprieve. The Enzo gave it a very good run for its money, and the Wara nearly picked up all the pieces at the end of that one. Very close for the Wara in the end. Well, that was a fantastic final. Would like to have had my car be a part of it, but it was a very good final. So there we go. We have the winner. If you want a supercar to go off-roading, the Maserati MC12 is pretty much the way to go. Aston Martin 177 is pretty good as well if it doesn't get stuck behind a Ford. Pretty much. Anyway, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.